So we're going to try out the Valken car stock with the expansion chamber, and we're going to start off with the 750 800 output tank that I have, 13 CI tank. I'll be screwing it onto this Valken car stock that I've adapted here with a GOG on and off valve. So first we're going to take an unscrew and remove this cap I have on here with the gauge. And make sure that ASA is still tight, looks good. We will take a little squirt. I'll give a little squirt here. Some silicone lubricant. And we're going to go ahead and spin this in. Actually, you know what? I should have brought my Allen wrenches down because I'm probably going to have to adjust this unless I get lucky. Actually, not too bad. Yeah, it's off a little bit, but it's probably good enough for us to test fire it today, but I do need to tweak it. The nice thing with this is 4 Allen set screws here. You can loosen it up and then you can straighten that part up of it out however you want it, but we're good and tight right there. So, and bring it down to its full length. And before I put the tank on and check it for leaks and make sure it sets the bolt, let me put my ears back in. At least one of them right now anyway, so I can check for leaks. All right, we're going to take the 13 CI, freshly filled to 3000 PSI. Now this one is supposed to be 800 PSI. It's anywhere between 750 and 800. I've had a gauge on here a couple times. It seems to be kind of a soft 800, so it's somewhere just before 800 PSI output. But that's fine because I want to test this on a lower pressure anyways. I'll take that off. We'll hook up the crowny. I'll set that up right thereabouts. Set the feet per second. And yeah, that really should be straighter than that, but it'll be okay for testing. Just making my OCD go off the chart a little bit, but all right, and we're just going to spin the tank in. That should be good there. And then I'm going to turn it on. There's no ammunition in this. This is tight. There's no CO2 cartridge in there either. And we're going to turn it on and see if the bolt activates. This is the first time I'm doing this, so we'll see how it goes. Okay. It was a slow bolt activation. It wasn't that crisp sound that you hear when you directly got the tank hooked into the ASA, but I did feel it engage. I could hear it engage. I'm not hearing any leaks, so I think my plumbing's fine. Looks good there. Let's see. Put my other air on. All right. The laser on. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the 10-gram AR Tactical Joules, 10-gram Joules, and we will be test firing with those. All right, this tank's a little big for this setup, especially with this being so I'm not sure I'm liking the way this stock is set up, but see if I can get one shot off to test it anyways. All right. Okay. Shot one. All right, so it's still auto firing. That's what I wanted to test. All right. Bummer. I was hoping that it wasn't going to do that now that I reinstalled the O-ring, the 014 on the bolt tip. I was really kind of hoping that not running that O-ring was potentially contributing to the auto fire. But no such luck. Back to the drawing board. I don't know if I'm going to... Whoop, there goes another one. I don't know if I'm going to get this set up to work. Now I've seen other setups work with this. I really wanted that extra expansion. I mean, maybe it's too much expansion, this expansion chamber in here, but I have seen other people do it and hook up a tank directly to this car stock and have some really good success with it. That's what I was hoping for. But whether I do it direct with the tank or whether I have it through the plumbing, through the line with the tank mounted on the side, I can't seem to stop the auto fire. And that's with the stock bolt spring in there now. And yeah, so I returned the stock spring. So that's with the stock spring reinstalled and the addition of the or not addition, but reinstallation of the bolt, the bolt tip O-ring. I do have a much heavier duty spring heading its way to me that I'm hoping I'll have in this week that I could try to test with. It's a 50 millimeter, so it's shorter than the factory bolt spring, but it's 2 millimeter wire, so it's 50 millimeter times 2 millimeter times 22 millimeter OD. So when I get that, I'm going to give that a try with this setup. I do need to straighten this out, don't I? But yeah, when I get that, I'm going to give this a try. And that's got to be tightened up, jingling around. I'm going to give this a try again because, one, I'm a stubborn type de pioche. So, and again, if I didn't see other people having success using this, namely Sean, Less Lethal for Dummies, a couple weeks ago you had a build that you were doing and you've had success doing it. So I'm really struggling with what's different about my scenario, or is it just my crap luck, right? I mean, I joke around all the time that if I didn't have bad luck, I probably wouldn't have any luck at all. But that was supposed to be a joke. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I don't think there's anything different now. I mean, like I said, this is the stock spring in here. This is, I know, Sean, you typically run that 50 millimeter spring. I'm not sure if it's the 1.8 wire thickness or if you're doing something differently, but I already know that I can't run a 60 millimeter length wire at even 1.8 thickness, because we saw the other day what that did to me. I had a 40% reduction in power. It ran fine, but that was just off the tank feeding it directly too. That wasn't with the car stock. That was direct feed through this ASA, I believe. Yeah, through this ASA. But I ain't taking a 40% cut just to get rid of auto fire, if that even helped me with the car stock. And I don't know because I haven't tried that. Now, The 50 millimeter spring, a little heavier duty, 1.8, works all day, all night in this. Works great. Works in the Intrabuster Gen 2. It just smooths out, you know, your consistency, right? Instead of having that first hot shot, it just kind of smooths everything out. You end up having a little bit more consistent shots with CO2, that is. And I'm only talking about CO2. We already know HPA is already consistent. So I don't think you see really too much benefit at all, if any. I think you just see a little power loss, if any, probably. The factory spring was shooting really good yesterday. But it doesn't seem like it's stiff enough to overcome this, what's causing the extra air volume. So I'm hoping the magic number might be that 50 millimeter shorter spring, 2 millimeter thickness wire, and then obviously the same, you know, OD, 22 millimeter OD. It's got to be big enough to go around the bolt, obviously. So that's what I'm hoping for next. I'm going to try that. One last thing to see if that resolves it. If it doesn't, I'm just going to go on scratching my head, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and build up some more volume. Maybe purchase the longer version of this ASA. That should give me, you know, decent volume. Won't give me as much volume as this, but maybe, you know, maybe for my setup, you know, like we say all the time, right? Every mock, no mock is created equal, or however the saying goes. Every mock is different, right? Slightly different. Your X-68 compared to my X-68, they're all slightly different in a sense. So yeah, so there we are. I still got the auto fire. Anytime I got that car stock connected, even with the tank now, basically direct connecting to the car stock, that additional air volume is, the bolt's not liking it. So that's with the 11.5-inch barrel. I didn't try it with a longer barrel. I honestly don't think it's worth trying with a longer barrel. Maybe it might be worth trying with the factory original barrel if I take this break this down and put the regular 4.5 stock barrel in here. But again, I don't know. I'm not thinking that's going to make a difference. Again, I've seen people use these two together and it worked and yielded great power. So again, I'm not sure if anybody has an explanation or some idea as to what's different about my build versus the people that have done it successfully, then by all means, you know, I'm open to comments. Open to any feedback on that stuff. So anyways, I'm going to keep this short. This was a what is the word I'm looking for? It was a failed test, I guess. I don't know. Busted, right? Busted. Myth busted, or yeah, Mythbusters. Tongue tied. Anyways, that's where we're at. So we'll see once I get that thicker spring in. I'm hoping. If not, like I said, I'm just going to end up buying the bigger ASA, because I definitely need more volume in order to take advantage of that additional 7.5 inches of the extension. I'm not seeing any gains with that 7.5-inch extension. So, and I think it has to do with I'm not getting enough volume with the small ASA. It's good volume, but not really enough to make a difference. So, that's what I'm trying to work on improving now. Anyways. All right. Probably talked longer than I should. Peace out. Stay tuned for more when I get the spring for more testing. Thanks. Peace out. All right. So we are back at it. Just doing some different stuff today. Just kind of doing a little experimental. So the way I figure it is my Pistelle X-68, my Stormtrooper build, the one that had the preheated CO2, I would have been using this Vulcan car stock with the expansion stock, hooked up to two 12 grams with some plumbing and a third 12 gram in the handle. I've been shooting it that way for months. No problem on CO2. However, ever since I tried to leverage this expansion with HPA, I have consistently, every time, whether it's I get the tank mounted here with some plumbing, or whether I have previously earlier tonight, I tried the tank back here, connected directly into the stock. Now with the better quality ASA, right? The ASA that has some expansion already, the short Home Defense 24. I can't get it to work without auto fire, which means it's not working because I get one shot and then the bolt just starts flipping back and forth, right? Until the pressure drops, or I turn the on and off to get the pressure to drop. So just to test and verify under CO2, using CO2 as the air supply, we're going to try it on 24 grams, meaning we're going to have a 12 gram in the handle, okay? And we'll get another 12 gram right here that I have connected through a gog on and off, so I can control which one, figure I'll puncture this first. It'll backfill into this expansion area. And then after that, I can puncture this one, or I'll puncture this first, but I just won't turn this on, I guess. And then we'll hit this one, then we'll turn that one on. That'll give us a combined 24 grams of CO2. I have no doubt that it will, more than likely, 99% sure anyways, that it's going to function without auto fire. And the reason why I say that is because I've been running 3 times 12 gram with this stock, with CO2, for months. I never had a problem. But I'm going to just verify it again on 24 grams since this is a little easier. I ain't going to take up as much space under my arm as if I tried to put a Umarex 2 times 12 gram here. It'd be sticking out further. So I'm going to use the single 12 gram with the 12 gram in the handle just to verify again that this gun fires with CO2 through the car stock expansion. And also, we'll measure some feet per second and see what we're getting with the 24 grams. But for the life of me, I haven't been able to figure out what is the difference, between the CO2. It works with CO2. Other guys have gotten it to work with HPA, but for the life of me, on my system, it auto fires every time I try to put even 750 PSI HPA in here. It auto fires. So just going to verify again that it does work on the CO2. I'm expecting it's going to work. Enough said. So that's what I'm going to do now. 24 grams, 12 and 12. And I guess we'll crank this one first. I got this to the off position. Let me make sure that's to the off. And let me pull this stock back so my hand's not in the way. All right, let's puncture this one first. Didn't hear anything, but I assume it's punctured. It's as tight as I can turn it. So, all right, now before I turn this on, I believe that's pierced. Before I turn the gog on to let this 12 gram into the car stock expansion, I'm going to puncture the handle first. We'll let that backfill. All right, here we go. Okay, so that sounded like a good puncture. This is when I wish I had a gauge. That's one thing that's nice with that plug on the back. I got the gauge, but all right, now we're going to turn this one on, and that should combine all the other 12 grams, so we should have combined 24 grams. Okay, I did hear the gas moving around. Not hearing any leaks. There could be a pinhole leak maybe, but nothing that I'm hearing. So, all right, we'll put the laser on here, and I guess what I'll do is just put the drum mag on. So we should have 24 grams, folks, connected here. We got a drum mag with, I believe 18 rounds in here. Not that I'm expecting we're going to shoot 18 rounds on 24 grams, but I don't hear nothing. All right, we're going to put the drum mag in. All right. And we're going to see how many shots we can get out of 24 grams. These are 10 gram AR Tactical Joules. Okay. 10 gram. 10 mamma jamma. Mamma gramma. All right, that's what she looks like. Okay, kind of cool. Looks good. We'll see how she runs. All right. Shot 1. 10 gram. 453.1. Shot 2. Woo! 445. I think I might have blew out an O-ring. First time ever, I think. Holy cow. I might have trigger pressure too. I don't know. I got to degas this. All right. Well, we got 2 shots off, but I think we found a weak link somewhere here. By the sounds of it, it sounds like an O-ring. All right. You saw it here first, guys. You saw it here first. All right. I think this is... I did turn this off, didn't I? Yeah, I believe so. All right. We had some pretty crazy pressures, though. I mean, I got like, coming out where my detents are, I got like oil, silicone oil, weeping out through there. Never seen it weep out through there before. That tells me it must have been a lot of pressure right about there. Hey. All right, let me turn this back on and degas the rest of it if there's anything else in there. Oh yeah, we still got CO2 in there, yeah. I imagine if I turn it back on, if the O-rings wasted, that it's going to continue to bleed down. So let's see what happens. Yeah. There wasn't much left in there. Yeah, not even enough to try to operate the bolt. Providing it would operate anyways, I'm not sure what O-ring let go. I don't know if it was one of those. I doubt it was probably the 011 with the urethane O-rings. My guess it's one of the other O-rings that I have that's not urethane, but I don't know. We'll see. I'll pull it apart and check it out. So, all right, the bolt is fully retracted. All ammunition's out of there. See if I can turn this off yet here. Let's just take this thing out. Take it out in case there's any more CO2 trying to build up. All right, good puncture on there. Good puncture anyways. Not that it helped me out too much. Well, I guess it did. I mean, what was it, like 453 or something like that feet per second? Not too bad. Not too bad. All right, now let's see if we got anything else in this. Sometimes these things are tricky. Let's make sure it's on and yeah, all right. Well, that's a nice tear. This thing does a good job. You know, you want a little quick 12 grams here. All right, so actually I think this setup would have been really nice if I didn't have an O-ring let go. So I'm gonna have to check and see. I'll let you guys know how I make out. I'm gonna have to pull it apart later tonight and see, make sure that everything's dead in here. There's no ammo. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull it apart and examine it, and we'll see what O-ring let go. But my guess is I had an O-ring let go. Might be one of those hidden ones, maybe. I don't know. I doubt it's at 011. I'd be very surprised. But if it is, I do have a couple spares Sean gave me of the urethane. But I would think, you know, those things are pretty indestructible, those urethane O-rings. So from what I understand anyways, we'll see. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. That is 2 shots anyways on 24 grams using the Falcon caststock with expansion. I don't know. I think it was gonna be turn out to be a pretty fun time if I didn't blow that O-ring. Anyways, stay tuned for more crazy zaniness over here. All right, peace out.